Hey guys, welcome back to the Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. Today's game we have on the table is called 4 Elements by Robert Morelli. 4 Elements is a game that's for 4 player. It consists of fire, air, earth, and water, and each player is going to have their own element.
And the objective of the game is to place your tiles, place your elements, your lords, and your barriers down on the board in your specific area. Each player will have their own area on the table to place them. And you want to make sure you protect your lord and by using your barriers, and you'll be able to use your elements to then flick your elements into other people's barriers, of course trying to knock out their lord. Once you knock out their lord, that takes that player out of the game. Last player standing wins the game.
That's basically the idea for the game. Let's go ahead and check out what it looks like. Okay, so here we have the game 4 Elements in this nice little wooden box here. And you're going to go ahead and take off the box lid just like that. And you're going to get out the elements for every single player that's going to play. So you have fire, and here this one is what, earth, or air, and this one here is earth, and this one here is water. And in the baggies, you're going to notice that there is going to be barriers, lords, and elements. Let's go ahead and take off at least fire, right? This is a cool looking one. Ooh, there we go. So in the game, you've got your barriers, and they look kind of like this. Every barrier is going to be a little different, and they're kind of made differently as well, as far as like thickness is concerned. These little barriers here. And then you've got your little elements here, which are basically your flicking tools, similar to like a marble or whatever, or the big marble. And then you've got your lords, which are your protector pieces. And these guys here, you don't want them to knock off the table. So let me go ahead and show you how a setup looks for a couple, maybe a 2-player game, and the way to start the game and the way the turns work.
Okay, so now we have our 2-player game set up here on the table. We have our barriers, and we have our lord here. And these are our elements. Again, these are the guys that we're going to be shooting at the opposing player with. So to start, we have our zones. So this is going to be my area, and that will be the other player's area. And we want to simply place our barriers in a manner that, again, protects our lord. If our lord gets knocked off the table, we lose the game, or we will be out of the game. So right now, we're just going to set up randomly here. I'm going to do this. One of the cool things about the wind is you can actually interlock some of the pieces. Make a little bit more of a extravagant setup here. But, okay, we'll just keep it simple like that. And again, you want to make sure your elements are on the outside, because these are the pieces that you're going to be flicking. If you have them back here, you're going to be flicking into your own barriers. So make sure you place your elements correctly as well. Just like that. I'll move this back a little bit to give myself some flick space. And that's a basic setup.
Alright, so each and every player has their specific area set up with their lords and their elements, as well as their barriers, as best as they can to protect their lords from flying out of bounds. And out of bounds is simply as big as your table you want to be, or whatever areas you want. Sometimes we use tape, or we use something that can make it pretty easy to see where the out of bounds area is. After that, you go ahead and select a player, and red is always the player that gets to go first, and they're also the player that happens to have more than one lord, which is kind of nice. The only problem with them is their barriers are a little weaker, so they're more likely to get knocked out easier. So they'll go ahead and take one of their elements, leave it on the table, and flick it. You'll see right up here. Flick it. And if they can flick off the lord off the table, they're going to win the game. If not, any other piece that they flick off, like a barrier or another player's element, is also going to be removed from play. In addition, whenever they flick one of their own characters off, or if they flick off their own guy that they just flicked, it's gone as well. Anything that flies off the boundary is out of play. And that's the idea for how to play 4 Elements, the flicking game of trying to destroy the other elements and make the one ultimate element champion. And it's, a very similar game to Marbles and other games like that, with a nice modern twist and some beautiful cut pieces. Well, let's go ahead and tell them what we think about the game. Alright guys, so 4 Elements. What do you think, Jim? What about component quality? That'd be the first thing I want to talk about.
Component quality, I really enjoyed the way that the different barriers were very unique. I mean, for instance, this is a wind barrier and this is a water barrier.
The fire one over here.
Very, very different. Yeah. One of the things I liked about the wind barrier, I chose wind first, is that they can kind of interlock with each other in different ways. So you can kind of make your barriers a little bit stronger.
OP!
Yeah, it actually worked out pretty well for me in the game that we played earlier. Another thing is with fire, you get 2 lords. So if you want 2 lords as opposed to 1, up your chances. But then again, their barriers are a little bit simpler.
They're so weak.
Yeah, and
I played fire, and trust me, it's nice to have that extra lord for sure. But these things basically they spin and allow the other guy's elements to go right on through. So component quality is good though, and their lasers are actually very nice. They're very high quality pieces, and they're all kind of different in even like thickness too. Like this white one is a lot thicker than this little clear blue one right here.
Yeah, you can
very
definitely
nice,
feel the
very
difference.
beautiful, and the cutting is really nice. The little leaves you see in the elemental, the earth, and the wind you can see on the little wind tiles. Also the box quality too, this 4 elements box, really nice. Likes the back, it has really nice laser etching as well in the back of the box. The only complaint I would have about this is also, it's like a positive and a negative, but the problem mainly is you've got the rules on the side of the box. It's kind of hard to see, and in order to read the rules, you're spinning the box like this, trying to figure out all the rules. So if you miss something, you kind of have to go around in a circle. Now, it's a very simple game, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it's very simple, but again, I enjoyed it very much so. One of the things that I kind of noticed is when you're taking your pieces here, your elements, these are your main pieces that you're flicking. We played with pretty much 4 young adults and all males. We were flicking them pretty hard, and pieces just went everywhere. Like it was pretty chaotic, but then again, it was also pretty fun. And people were taken out pretty quickly, actually.
Oh yeah, so flicking the pieces, obviously, I agree with you. When you flick those pieces, it's going to knock the heck out of things. And there should be specific rules. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like some kind of mechanism to not like, so, I mean, I flick these things good. And they're really solid and high quality, so I'm not going to do nothing go damage or anything like that. But at the same time, you got pieces flying and hitting people and you know where and you want to know where. But nevertheless, really fun, really exciting game. It does remind me of like, I hate to say it, it's not in a negative way, but like glorified marbles. It's like marbles, but with more tactical. And, you know, instead of the big marble which you're using to flick things around with, you're using these the lords to protect, and you're using these small little elements to knock over the lords. Really nice quality, really nice components, beautiful gameplay, all that. Definitely an older audience might not enjoy this game as much because the strategies, there's not as much there as far as strategy when it comes to an older audience, especially if you can just flick so hard that everything just flies off the table. Younger audiences really going to like this game, I think. I know as a kid I would be dying to play this game.
I definitely
agree.
I
played this again with a couple younger family members as well as some young adults too from my my youth group, and they all really enjoyed this game. We played many times. It's got that kind of dexterity feel of just like trying your best to build your best fort and then watching it get blown away. And so kids really like that. And even young adults, even adults like us, I guess. It's just the flicking mechanism is kind of, depending on the age of the players, can be a little more dangerous. Not even dangerous, just a little more eventful and harder flicks.
Yeah, I would also definitely make sure that wherever you're playing this game, because pieces are going to go flying off the table, make sure there's nothing that could maybe break around.
And even the bigger, you need a bigger table too.
Yes,
yeah,
bigger
definitely.
table, definitely better. Also, I do kind of see this more for a younger audience. Again, like I was saying, the older you are, the harder you flick, and I would even say that you can't move your arm when you flick. Maybe use that as a little rule, because you want to limit your power as much as possible. It makes the game last a little bit longer. It makes it a little bit more enjoyable as opposed to just one big explosion all of a sudden. That
Nevertheless, though, really good game. Overall, quality, components, gameplay, very fun. And if you like a flicking game, like Flick 'em Up or these other kind of dexterity flicking games, this is going to be one of those games as well. A little bit less strategy than Flick 'em Up, but a little bit more chaos and a little bit more like, I mean, just kind
Definitely
of
chaos.
vibrance and insanity, and screaming and yelling. Tons of people having fun. Overall, for you though, what do you think? Just overall.
To be honest, I had a blast. Even though it got a little explosive pretty quickly, just the way that you can arrange your tiles on the ground and the way you can kind of have your own strategy, and I don't know. It's a simple game, but it's very fun, very quick, and has a high replay value, I think, as well.
And that's 4 elements. Alright guys, thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. If you like this video and like to see more, don't forget to check out the rest of our content here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment.
And also, don't forget to check out our website at unfilteredgamer.com, where we have lots of giveaways and blog posts and even Kickstarter games. A nice list of Kickstarter games. That way you don't have to go to Kickstarter.com yourself and search through all the different things. We made it really, really easy for you by putting a list on our site.
Just point and click and you get to go to your
very
game.
simple.
Yep. As well as checking out the rest of our affiliate websites like everythingboardgames.com and the Giveaway Geek. Go ahead and check them out. Click them wherever it's at. All right, guys, we appreciate you watching another video, and we look forward to seeing you next time.